Hello, this is John, and in this tutorial video, we're going to take a look at the quiz activities within Moodle. The first thing you're going to do is land on your course page and turn editing on at the very top. Once we have editing turned on, we can scroll down to a section we want to add our quiz to. Once you find that section, go ahead and click Add an Activity or Resource. Once we click on that, a little menu will pop up. We want to go ahead and select Quiz. Here you can read a little bit more about quizzes and how they might be applicable to your course. This is a pretty useful resource, especially if you're new to adding quizzes onto your courses, as there's a variety of different ways you could utilize quizzes for your course. Once we have quiz selected, you want to go ahead and select Add. This will take us to the quiz settings screen, where we'll first have to supply the quiz with a name, and if you want, you can supply it with the description. After we're done with the initial settings, we'll want to scroll down and take a look at the little additional settings that come in each of these little sections. First, there is timing, which will allow us to designate the time for our quizzes. We can open the quiz on a specified time, close the quiz on a specified time, create a time limit, and dictate what happens when the time expires and a student is still in the middle of a test. We also have a section for the grace period. If we need to activate any of these lines to make adjustments to our settings, or if you want to add any of these settings onto your quiz, all you have to do is click the Enable box to the right of each line. Next is grades. This will allow us to place our quiz into a category if we have those set up. You may take a look at the categories and organization for the gradebook tutorial within this set of videos. Next is the layout, which will allow us to show how the questions are going to be ordered within every quiz. We can set it up so that every page has a certain amount of questions, and we can shuffle those questions if we want to. The next part is question behavior, which will shuffle the questions in multiple choice questions or questions that have multiple answers, and will dictate how those questions behave. So for example, if we have a multiple choice question and we want to shuffle the answers so that every student is not the same, we can do so by clicking on this little box right here to shuffle the questions or the answers within a question. We can also defer our feedback with multiple options, but we're just going to go ahead and leave this at the default. The next area is review options, which will set up several different ways the questions behave once a student is interacting with them on the quiz. So for example, if we want the student to see the attempt after they answer a question, we can go ahead and check that little box and it will allow the student to see the attempt. You're more than welcome to go through to see which ones will work for your quiz. And if you have any questions about a particular area, you're more than welcome to click on the little question marks next to each little thing, where it will allow you to see what works, what doesn't, and it can answer some of your questions. The next area is appearance, which will allow you to set up some additional features, but that are not necessary for the appearance of your quiz. For example, we can show the user's picture ID, we can place decimal places in the grades, or we can show decimal places in the question grades. You're more than welcome to go through each of these settings and set them up the way you would like. This page also has settings that will allow you to create extra restrictions on attempts, and it will allow you to provide overall feedback for particular grade boundaries. For example, if a student gets 100%, then they'll get a feedback that says, "Good job," once they are done. We can set up multiple grade boundaries for multiple feedback, but it's really up to you whether or not you want to include this on your quiz. Finally, we have the final two settings. We have the common module settings and the restrict access. Common module settings only focus on groups, and you can check out that feature within another one of our videos. And the restrict access module will allow us to restrict access. Once again, we have another video that you can watch where you can learn about these two features in particular. After we're done, we can go ahead and save our quiz. And this is how you successfully add a quiz onto your Moodle course page. In our next video, we will focus on editing our quiz, which will include adding questions and getting a question bank added into the quiz itself.